So Dan, it's interesting you talk about public positions. What we're increasingly finding is companies being forced to take, not forced, or being incentivized, if I can use that term, to take public positions or positions on trending public issues. And I was reading a book called The New Political Capitalism, and there's something that came out in that story, is that we always begin our business decision making from the business plan or the strategy, but we forget that politics is defining the choices for society, and that has an impact on the choices we make for the business. I guess that's another something that the boards would or should be looking at and addressing and working with the CEO. What do you feel about that at a conceptual level?
Yes, I think it's something that we're seeing in many more places around the world. I think you could make several guesses as to why we're seeing it now. I think there are just more and more problems that society is dealing with, and governments have not always been up to the task. Sometimes these have been very difficult questions for governments to solve, and I think perhaps not unreasonably, a lot of people look to business to solve some of these things. Some of these questions are not always solvable by business, but business might have a role to play. I think there's a recognition on the side of business itself that they need to get involved, right? So it's coming from both directions, right? There's sort of a demand side and a supply side in a way. I think the other side here is that there's a recognition that business cannot succeed if society fails, right? And so business has got to get involved and make sure that society succeeds, that there is a role to play. And so I think it does find its way into strategies. It's beginning to find its way more and more. Again, as I said earlier, some of this is also driven by employees who want to see a purpose-driven organization. So it's the coming together of all of this. And I think that the more forward-thinking management teams are coming early to boards and saying, look, let's get ahead of this. Let's not wait until we're on the back foot and we're asked to respond, or the media comes to us in a crisis and says, what are you going to do? And instead, let's come up with a plan in advance. Let's decide what the four corners of this will be, where we decide to play and where we decide not to play. There's going to be areas, again, very reasonably, where businesses perhaps don't want to take a position. And I think that's fair, but you've got to decide that early and in advance. And I think good boards and good management teams are doing this today. They're sitting down early, and they're trying to get ahead of things.